They told you truth would win, that virtue defends itself, that goodness is the crown of power. They lied. The world does not kneel before innocence. It feeds on it. It fattens on your honesty and calls it naivety. What rules this earth is not truth, it's control over what men believe to be true. Power begins in illusion, and illusion begins in the mind. Your mind. You must unlearn the fantasy that people are rational creatures. They are puppets of fear, guilt, desire, habit, and appearances. And if you do not seize those strings, someone else will. Most walk through life like open ledgers, their secrets printed in plain sight. They talk too much, reveal too soon, defend too quickly, and beg too often to be seen. The moment you crave to be understood, to be liked, to be accepted, you surrender the upper hand. Never explain, never over-clarify. A man who does not justify himself radiates weight. Silence is not absence, it is leverage. Each word you withhold builds gravity. The one who explains his soul to be accepted forfeits his command of perception. So hide in plain sight. Learn the art of being unreadable. The man no one can read, no one can predict, becomes the one everyone fears. People can resist violence, but not uncertainty. They can fight what they see, not what they cannot define. Be that enigma. Speak in fragments. Smile without telling them why. Let them doubt whether your kindness conceals calculation. Let your quiet confuse them. Peace or war they shouldn't know. That tension is your dominion. They will beg for transparency. Deny it. Every confession is ammunition for the enemy. Politeness is a disguise, not a promise. Friendliness is camouflage, not commitment. The most effective mask is the honest face of a man the world believes harmless. That is the trick of the true manipulator. He no longer wears a disguise because his reputation itself has become one. Humans cannot stand uncertainty, so they project clarity where none exists. Let them. Their projections cloak you. If they see weakness, they will underestimate you. If they see arrogance, they will expect chaos and miss your patience. If they see silence, they will think submission, and that is when your stillness will strike. Misjudgment is a fortress. Never correct it. Power exposed invites resistance. Power implied compels obedience. People obey what they cannot understand. They fear what they cannot categorize. There in that fog of ambiguity you rule. If you desire loyalty, do not demand love, breed necessity. When they need you, they will stay. When they fear your withdrawal, they will serve. Love questions. Fear obeys. But not the crude terror that breeds hatred, the subtle dread of losing your favor. Master the weapon of absence. Withdraw attention, delay responses, withhold warmth. Every second of silence bends them closer. Control is not in noise, but in rhythm. Break theirs until they dance to yours. Watch closely. Their eyes, their tone, their triggers. Every human carries invisible levers labeled validation, recognition, status, control. Study them. Pull softly. Let dependency grow. Real power doesn't shove, it guides. They must never know you moved them. They must believe it was their idea. That is not coercion. That is architecture. Influence built on invisibility. You do not declare power. You insinuate it. A glance, a pause, a delayed answer. These are your instruments. The less they know of your design, the deeper they fall into it. Transparency is suicide. Mystery governs empires. The world is not ruled by the loud, but by those who whisper and are still heard in silence. Never fight battles you haven't already tilted. Conflict is not chaos. It's choreography. Before confrontation, shape perception. Plant doubt. Sow whispers. Let your enemy walk into a conclusion he thinks he created. When he argues your point as his own, you've already won. The highest mastery is not to defeat an opponent, but to erase the idea of opposition itself. Let them thank you for the chains you place gently on their wrists. The weak crave clarity. You will weaponize it. You are not here to be loved. You are here to be obeyed, to be remembered in silence, to be feared in your absence. A man reaches sovereignty when misunderstanding no longer disturbs him, when insult no longer provokes him, when betrayal no longer surprises him. That man has stepped from reaction to command. The crowd bends for approval. The ruler bends nothing. He stands unmoved while the world writhes around him. Stillness is terrifying. In that stillness, you become the mirror of every man's disguise. They will flee or submit. Both are victories. Defensiveness is prey behavior. Explanation is weakness. The strong allow judgment to echo unanswered. Truth without strategy is suicide. Every word you utter must be either a scalpel or silence. The deadliest men in history didn't shout. They selected words like blades and used them sparingly. Speak like every syllable is irreversible. That is dominance. The unseen move is the strongest. If they can't trace your hand, they can't block your strike. Influence is geometry, not force. You reposition people, not push them. You build reliance before you declare power. The shepherd never tells the sheep they're fenced until it's too late to run. That is psychological empire building. Comfort is the softest cage ever made. Offer warmth, then remove it. Let the absence bite. They will chase it forever, mistaking dependency for devotion. You own what they can't live without. Do not waste your suffering. The masses cry when wounded. You will document the lesson. Every betrayal is a diagram. Every loss is data. While they drown in emotion, you will draw the map. Remember who watched you bleed. Remember who smiled as you fell. Then rebuild in silence. The moment you stopped begging and started noting was the moment you stopped dying. Power is not conquest outside, it is dominion within. The empire you forge in your own mind cannot be overthrown. They will call you cold. Let them. All evolution looks cruel to the obsolete. They will say you've changed. Good. Change again until recognition dies. Growth is treason to those who fed on your weakness. Your rise will disturb their peace. Let it. When they call you selfish, hear free. When they call you arrogant, hear beyond reach. Their resentment is your proof. Every accusation is an obituary for the version of you they could control. You are stuck because guilt still leashes you. You mistake loyalty for debt. You owe no one comfort at the cost of your crown. Walk alone. Your silence is your message. The man who vanishes without explanation teaches more than the man who justifies his absence. Distance is dignity. Disappear until your name feels like a myth whispered with regret. You don't owe closure to those who drained you. Your absence is the only answer they deserve. Your greatest war will not be with enemies, but with the softness inside you. The need to explain, to apologize, to be perceived as good. Kill it. You do not need to be good. You need to be effective. Morality is a luxury of the powerless. The powerful ask one question: does it work? The world does not orbit righteousness. It bows to results. Abandon the theater of virtue. Enter the calculus of consequence. What advances you is right. What delays you is sin. That is the creed of the unstoppable. When you shed the need to be righteous, walls crumble before you. Silence terrifies the uncertain. The less you speak, the more they reveal, the more they tremble. People interpret mystery as danger. Let them. Stillness is authority. A sovereign doesn't chase attention. Attention bends toward him. When he enters, the air thickens. The weak adjust their tone, and the room reorders itself without command. Cultivate that gravity. Withdraw your reactions. Guard your energy. Not everyone deserves proximity to power. The more selective your presence, the more sacred it becomes. Your availability must be earned, not assumed. Scarcity multiplies value. Every moment you withhold yourself, your legend grows. Stop scattering your fire. Your attention is a currency. Spend it ruthlessly. The man who gives himself to all is owned by all. The man who withholds becomes myth. Let your silence burn louder than noise. Detachment is not coldness, it is control. When you master your accessibility, you master the field. They cannot guilt you, tempt you, or sway you when your validation is self-sourced. Most men die with their power unspent, smothered under the need to belong. But you, if you are willing to walk alone into the frost, to burn quietly while others rest, you will discover the form beneath the ashes, the man who does not chase peace, but manufactures it. The one who does not seek protection because he has become it. The man who once asked, "What do they think of me?" will vanish. The man who asks, "What leverage do I hold?" will rise. And the answer will echo through him, "I hold myself. I kneel to nothing. I fear no loss. Because I have already buried the part of me that begged. No savior is coming. The world belongs to those who initiate. There is no path, only territory, and it yields to the man who dares to claim it. Life is war. The battlefield is psychological, and mercy is extinction. Your rivals are sharpening their blades while you scroll, while you doubt, while you wait. Every idle hour is a victory for them. Rise early. Train when others decay. Study when others distract themselves. Every moment of discipline adds to your dominion. Every moment of comfort subtracts from it. There will come a day when you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the man staring back. And that will be your rebirth. The reflection you once mourned was built from their expectations. Every compromise you made to be liked, every apology that wasn't owed, every silence born from fear, it carved a false face. The real face of power is forged in detachment, shaped by indifference, sharpened by solitude. It is the look of a man who no longer negotiates his worth. When you no longer seek to be understood, you become untouchable. The world cannot manipulate what it cannot define. Let them call you heartless. The lion cares not for the opinion of sheep. To stand alone is to hear the world whisper in fear, not in pity. The weak need noise to confirm their existence. The strong thrive in the echo of their own silence. That silence will become your throne. Understand this. Most men will waste their lives trying to prove they are good. They'll seek applause, validation, reputation, until their spirit is chained by the opinions of fools. But your task is not to be good, it's to be effective. Do not live to be admired. Live to be obeyed by circumstance. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But the highest mastery is to be neither feared nor loved, but needed. The man they cannot replace controls the direction of their lives. Become indispensable, not through favors, but through capability. When you are irreplaceable, you are untouchable. When they depend on your silence, you dictate the conversation. When they depend on your presence, you dictate the room. Power is not in dominance, it is in dependency. They will call you ruthless for refusing to need them back. Smile. That's the cry of the powerless echoing through their envy. Every empire begins in the mind of someone who refused to be small. The difference between you and them is not opportunity, it's perception. They see risk and retreat. You see risk and calculate. The masses worship luck. The rulers manufacture it. Each decision you delay gives power to someone else. So move. Strike when others plan. Execute when others hesitate. Fortune favors the bold, not the reckless, but the decisive. In a world paralyzed by overthinking, clarity is dominance. Every hesitation is a wound. The man who moves first dictates the rhythm of the game. The rest are just reacting. Be the cause, not the effect. Be the architect of uncertainty, not its victim. Power is not about control. It's about creating inevitability. But remember, visibility is vulnerability. Never show your hand too soon. Power grows in the dark, matures in silence, and announces itself only through consequence. Let your success whisper while your presence unsettles. The greatest generals never fought unless victory was already assured. They won before they began. You must do the same. Master information before confrontation. Learn everyone's weakness. Reveal none of your own. The world calls it manipulation. The wise call it strategy. Everyone is manipulating, only the powerful admit it. The rest pretend morality while bending truth to their advantage. Hypocrisy is the camouflage of the powerless. You, however, must learn to wield truth as a blade, not a burden. Tell the truth when it wounds them more than deceit. Lie only when silence cannot protect you. Every word you release must be deliberate, either to disarm, destabilize, or direct. The most dangerous mistake is to think people owe you fairness. The universe does not care, and neither do men. They will exploit your weakness while preaching virtue. They will betray you, then demand understanding. They will envy your fire, then call it arrogance. So learn to expect betrayal as calmly as sunrise. Expect disloyalty as naturally as breathing. This is not cynicism, it's awareness. The one who expects deception cannot be deceived. Each time you are betrayed, you are refined. Each cut removes an illusion. The purified man is not bitter, he is awake. When you no longer need the world to be fair, you start playing to win, not to feel safe. And that is when your reign begins. Power does not require anger. Rage is for those still reacting. Control requires calm, patience, and an unsettling smile. The loud man seeks validation. The quiet man seeks victory. A storm contained within calm terrifies more than thunder. When you control your face, your tone, your timing, you weaponize uncertainty. They will project emotions into your silence, exhaust themselves guessing your intent, and in that confusion, you will act. Stillness is the final weapon. The predator that doesn't chase makes the prey nervous enough to come closer. Detach from the illusion of friendship in the game of power. Alliances are temporary instruments, not eternal bonds. Loyalty lasts only as long as benefit. Even allies can turn when their advantage shifts. That's not betrayal. It's the nature of survival. Don't take offense. Anticipate it. Keep everyone close enough to study, but far enough to sacrifice. The heart is the first casualty in the pursuit of dominion. Feel deeply, but never let feelings dictate moves. Emotion clouds strategy. Attachment poisons foresight. You must learn the art of selective affection. Care only for those whose loyalty is proven by time and silence, not by words and promises. When you master detachment, you master choice. You will no longer react, you will select. You will no longer chase, you will attract. The world will call it arrogance, but it is simply order returning to its rightful center. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. But there is a third, respect. Respect is born from consequence. When you make your absence more painful than your presence, respect follows naturally. Withdraw, and they will feel the gravity of what they lost. Return, and they will never take you lightly again." That is how kings move, by scarcity, not saturation. Do not confuse rest with weakness. Strategic retreat is power preserving itself. The hunter who sleeps is not lazy, he is calculating. Every pause is preparation for a greater strike. Do not explain your silence. Let them wonder. Mystery expands influence. Predictability kills it. You owe no one your patterns. Those who cannot predict you cannot control you. Be the variable in every equation. When they think you'll turn left, vanish. When they think you're gone, reappear behind them. Presence is a tactic. Use it sparingly. Be ruthless in your evolution. Most people decay because they confuse familiarity with loyalty. They cling to old versions of themselves to keep others comfortable. You will not. You will shed skins without mourning. Growth demands betrayal, first of others, then of your former self. Your loyalty is to progress, not to nostalgia. Those who cannot grow with you will curse you. Let them. Their anger is your confirmation. The path to power is littered with the corpses of those who stopped changing. Keep moving. Reinvent faster than they can predict. A moving target is immortal. The higher you rise, the quieter you must become. The air grows thinner where kings breathe. Few can follow. Isolation is not punishment, it is purification. Loneliness is the crucible where strength becomes sovereignty. The crowd cannot understand what they cannot endure. Let their misunderstanding be your shield. The one who stands alone stands above. There is peace in detachment that the weak will never taste. The peace of needing nothing, fearing nothing, waiting for no one. That peace is empire. One day they will try to rewrite your story. They'll say you were lucky, cruel, or blessed. They'll erase the nights you bled in silence. Let them lie. History always belongs to the victor, and you, by surviving, have already won. Your existence becomes the proof that control, not chaos, prevails. Every scar is evidence of mastery, not victimhood. Every scar says, "I remained." And that is what the world fears most. Not the man who wins once, but the man who never breaks. So here is the final truth. The world does not destroy the powerful, it worships them. But only after it's too late to stop them. By the time they understand your method, you will already be beyond reach. While they debate morality, you will be shaping reality. While they seek approval, you will be issuing orders. The throne is not given to those who ask. It is taken by those who no longer need permission. That is the silent revolution, when you stop waiting and start dictating. Walk forward with no hesitation, for hesitation is betrayal to your own destiny. Let every step you take be deliberate, even when uncertain. The difference between you and the rest is not clarity, it's courage. The future bends to those who act despite doubt. You will never feel ready, and that is the point. Readiness is the disguise of fear. Move, build, seize, manipulate time itself through motion. The longer you wait, the more the world belongs to those who don't. The day will come when you realize you've become what you once envied. The calm, calculating, unreadable man who moves through chaos untouched. the one who no longer reacts because he built the chaos himself.
You will look at those still explaining themselves, still begging to be understood, and you will smile because you finally understand. Power was never about domination. It was about detachment.
The man who controls himself controls everything. And when that realization settles in, do not celebrate. Simply continue, because power, once achieved, must be maintained through vigilance. The fall of every ruler begins with comfort. Do not rest on victory. Sharpen it. Each day ask, who controls me? If the answer is no one, then you are where all kings eventually arrive, alone, but absolute. So walk on, let the world talk, doubt, distort. Let them misjudge your silence, your ambition, your distance. They do not need to understand. They only need to obey the gravity you emanate. That is rule. That is empire. That is the Machiavellian truth they will never teach in books. The world does not belong to the righteous or the loud. It belongs to the disciplined, the unreadable, the man who dares to vanish while others beg to be seen. And as your story unfolds, remember, power is not inherited. It is rehearsed, rebuilt, and reborn every morning you wake before the world, sharpen your will, and whisper the creed of the ruthless. I am no one's follower. I am no one's prey. I am the architect of all that obeys. Stay alert, because what comes next is the part where you stop playing their game and start writing your own.